Hello, and welcome to this guided mindfulness meditation practice. If we haven't met before, my name is Jo and I'll be guiding. In today's practice, we will be working through a body scan. And as you bring attention to each part of your body, you'll be checking in to see if you notice any sensations, any physical sensations in that part of your body. And if you do identify these feelings, these sensations, you'll be then labeling the feeling as pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Now, one of the goals of this practice is to develop an equanimous mind. So the idea is that you're going to label those feelings with equanimity. So that means you're not attaching to the pleasant, you're not being averse to the unpleasant, or maybe falling asleep to the neutral. You're trying to label with this very balanced approach. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that your mind may well wander at some point during the practice, okay? So this is very normal. Your mind is trying to take care of things, that's its job, and so just because your mind wanders does not mean you're not meditating. And that's a really important thing to remember, because a huge goal of this meditation practice is to better understand the nature of the mind. And noticing that your mind is wandering is part of noticing the nature of the mind. And so if you do notice that your mind has wandered at some point, instead of focusing on the fact that your mind wandered, try focusing on the fact that you noticed that your mind wandered. That moment of noticing that your mind has wandered is a very rich moment of mindfulness. And as soon as you notice that, come right back to your breath and right back to the body part that we're working with. So before we get started, a quick note on your seat, your position. I highly recommend using a cushion or something else underneath your sitting bones. Now this is going to lift your hips so your hips are a bit higher than your knees, and that allows you to sit up from your lower back. You can sit with your legs crossed if this is comfortable. You can also sit kneeling with the cushions or maybe multiple cushions underneath your sitting bones. And if none of this really works for you, you can also sit in a chair. If you're in a chair, I recommend having your feet on the floor, touching the floor, and be in a position where you can sit up tall rather than slouching and leaning back into the chair. And if you try all of these seated positions and none of them work, then for sure feel free to lay down on your back. If you're laying on your back, it can be nice to have a cushion or pillow underneath your head and or underneath your knees. So you want to set yourself up so you feel comfortable and you feel that you can sit still for about 20 minutes or so. And once you find that position, you can wiggle around a little bit and settle in. And then rest your hands onto your lap if you're in a seat. This can be palms down or palms up. You follow what feels good for you right now. And take a little moment to lift your shoulders up, roll them back and down, and sit up nice and tall from your lower back. Not necessarily straining, but just getting that lovely lift, that sense of alertness, of awakeness. And from there, with your head at neutral, so your eyes would be straight forward, not looking down, straight forward, then gently close your eyes. And I'll start with a few deep rounds of breath. So in through your nose, take your time. Exhale slowly through your mouth. And take a few deep breaths in your own time. And then when you feel ready, seal your lips and continue to breathe nice and easily in and out through your nose. As you bring your awareness, your attention to your abdomen, follow the movement of your breath here. And if it helps you to stay focused, you can also label this movement on the inhales rising and on the exhales falling. We take these first few moments to collect and unify the mind on the act of breathing. And from your belly, gently expand your awareness out to fill your whole body with awareness. And just as much as you can, notice your body in space. Notice how it feels to be sitting or laying down for your practice right now. And then gently trace your focus up to the crown of your head. Resting your awareness at the crown of your head. Curiously notice whether you find any feelings, any sensations here. And if you do, label that sensation as pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. And from the crown of your head, trace your focus down across your forehead. Across your eyebrows to your temples. Checking in to notice if you find any feelings, any sensations here. And labeling those feelings with a really balanced, equanimous approach. And draw your focus to your eyes, your eye sockets. Perhaps even being aware of your eyes reaching deeper into your brain, inside your skull. Bring your awareness to your nose. Perhaps noticing the feeling of air moving in and out through your nostrils. So these feelings that you might discover, they may feel warm or cool. You might feel ticklish or itchy. And bring your awareness across your cheeks, your cheekbones, and out to your jaw. And bring awareness to your ears. Notice the whole back of your head. Tracing focus back around to your jaw. Trace down your jawline. Notice your upper lip, your lower lip, and your chin. Your teeth, your tongue. Notice how you may also discover sensations deeper inside your body. So maybe sensations in your throat, perhaps the urge to swallow, perhaps the actual act of swallowing. And with that equanimous mind, try to label any of those sensations as pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Trace your focus down the front of your neck, your throat, expanding to the sides of your neck and the back of your neck. And drawing focus down the top of your right shoulder, between your neck and your shoulder. Labeling any sensations you feel as pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, without creating any stories beyond that. Notice your right shoulder. Awareness through your right upper arm. You can notice sensations on the surface, at the skin, or even deeper inside. Be curious. Notice your right elbow. Your right forearm. Your right wrist. The palm of your right hand. The back of your right hand. All the fingers and thumb of your right hand. Notice any sensations and label them. Now let that go and bring your awareness to the left side of your neck and your left shoulder, space between your neck and your shoulder. Notice your left shoulder. Perhaps even being aware of any sensations deeper inside, around the joint, the bones, the muscles. Notice your left upper arm. Your left elbow. Your left forearm. Be as curious as you can about any sensations you feel. You can also be curious that if you find a sensation that you would label as neutral, then sometimes there can be a little bit of pleasantness in that neutrality. Notice your left wrist, the palm of your left hand, the back of your left hand, Try to really notice the fingers and thumb of your left hand without necessarily wiggling them. And let that go. Bring your attention back up to your neck, the front of your neck. And now notice the space down across your collarbones and across your chest. Perhaps you notice the feeling of your chest rising and falling with each breath. Perhaps even curious to notice the feeling of air moving in and out through your lungs. And perhaps even noticing the beating of your heart. As you draw your awareness down the front of your chest, notice your entire rib cage. And at the base of your rib cage, where your diaphragm sits for your breath, at this point take a few deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth, and really notice the feeling of movement at the base of your rib cage. Coming back to normal breathing, draw your awareness down to your abdomen. Perhaps you can feel some movement of digestion. Perhaps you even hear the sounds of digestion a little bit. And can you just label those sensations as pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral without needing to write a longer story about it? Notice your whole abdomen and even around the sides of your waist. And now bring your attention to your upper back, across the top of your shoulders, all around your shoulder blades. Maybe you can feel your clothing against your skin. Or if you're laying down, perhaps you feel the ground underneath your upper back, and notice what that feels like. Tracing your focus down through your middle back, your lower back, with equanimity, with balance. Notice sensations and label them: pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Trace your focus down to your buttocks, your hips, your pelvis. Notice your sitting bones pressing down into your cushion or your seat. Now notice specifically your right hip. Perhaps visualizing and noticing the hip joint. And draw your focus all through your right upper leg. Front of your thigh, back of your thigh, inner thigh, outer thigh, and everything deeper inside. Be curious. Notice your right knee. Continue to breathe normally, breathe easily. Notice your lower right leg, shin, calf. And if at any point another part of your body calls your attention, notice it, acknowledge it, and move back to the body part that we're working with, your lower right leg. Notice your right ankle, your right heel, the sole of your right foot, the top of your right foot, the toes of your right foot. And let that go and bring your awareness to your left hip. Notice your upper left leg. Bring all your awareness to your left knee. With curiosity, noticing your left knee as though it is the most interesting thing in your world right now. Notice your lower left leg. Your left ankle. Notice your left heel. Notice the sole of your left foot. The top of your left foot. Notice all 5 toes of your left foot. And now notice the toes of both feet. Expand that awareness to encompass both feet completely. Notice both ankles, continuing to be curious about whether you find any sensations here. And you may find that as you revisit body parts, a sensation might have changed, or a sensation may be the same, but you may find you would label it differently. Notice both lower legs. Both knees. Both thighs. Notice both hips. Your buttocks. Notice your whole pelvis. And as you continue to curiously check in with whether there's sensations, you may find that you discover a feeling, and as you bring your attention to it, it changes or it disappears. Notice that. It's the arising and passing away of sensation. Bring your awareness up to your abdomen and your lower back and the sides of your waist. So notice your trunk in three-dimensional proportions. Up through your rib cage, including the front, the back, and the sides. Up to your chest and your upper back. From your fingers, notice your hands, your wrists, both forearms, both elbows, both upper arms. So you notice your whole arms in your awareness. Notice your shoulders, across the top of your shoulders to your neck, the front, sides, and back of your neck. Awareness up through the back of your head, your ears, your jaw, mouth, cheeks, your nose, your eyes, your eyebrows, your temples, your forehead. And notice your whole face in your awareness. And gently trace your awareness back to the crown of your head. And then gently from the crown of your head, let your awareness move down through your body until you are again noticing your whole body in space right now. And as you work with this full body awareness, perhaps you can label an overall feeling tone of your body as pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. And know that there may be an overall feeling of pleasantness, even though there are parts that you would label unpleasant, and vice versa. Just an overall feeling tone. Be curious about what you're experiencing. Holding your whole body in your awareness. Once again, take a few deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And letting your breath come back to natural. Now draw your awareness back to your abdomen, simply noticing the rising and falling of your breathing. And take all the time you need. And when you're ready, you can close your practice by gently blinking open your eyes.